Brianna representing Montreal. I love it. She's been on a tear for I don't even know how long. She's just been winning match after match beyond what I can keep track of. So cool to see another Montreal native represent on the scene on the biggest stage out there. And yeah, main eventing, that's so cool. It's so great. She's dangerous. She's very good. I think she's proven that she's very good, but she's still maybe not rated as good as she could be. And it's cool to see her get out there and show the world where she's at.
Yeah, Maisa seems before Bree came on the scene, I was like, Maisa was, in my opinion, one of the most technical female grapplers. So, I mean, that's like someone that always stood out. But Bree, honestly, really impresses me. She does a very good job of chaining attacks well. With usually, I mean, not all the time, but usually you'll see one or two chained attacks. Once there's a defense, then you see they kind of break up into a neutral position. Bree, you often see chain attacks, and when grapplers are able to do that, it really starts to put a pressure on the other grappler, and really starts to get in their head. So I'm curious to see how this goes. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to see both of those grapplers.
Man, it's tough. I haven't really watched much of Maisa Bastos, but I know Brianna is super technical, and she's been on a tear lately. I mean, she's pretty much submitting everyone. I mean, she lost to Fionn Davies, but Fionn's like, Fionn. So I think it's going to be really exciting, and I think Brianna comes out with the win on that one.
Like before ADCC, I would have seen Maisa as primarily like a kind of not even a closed guard player, but a guard player, I suppose, in general. But then her match against Bia in ADCC was just like, we saw a different kind of style. So then obviously Brianna's run was just amazing as well. I think it's going to be a bit of a barn burner. Like, I think they both may wrestle off. Like, obviously the guard will play a big role, but I think in general, a few people may be counting that main event out, but I think that, like, don't count the two of the best females in the world out before you've seen that match. So I'm thinking that's going to be an amazing match.
I know Maisa's trying to gain weight right now. I know she had to do that for ADCC, and I know Brianna's coming off a great performance there as well. So I'm really happy to see that fight. I think Maisa's very technical, and I think, of course, we're going to see her playing guard and trying to get to the back. And I know Brianna's pressure game is very hard to deal with, so I'm just excited to watch it.
Anyone who fights Cole it's going to be an exciting match, and that kid is insanely talented, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Damien versus Cole, very interesting match. That sort of came about as well because of a pullout. Thankfully, just as a fan of guys in my division, that's a really interesting match. I think Damien pulls it off via submission or attacking submission. I think that's Damien's best bet to beat Cole, especially under this rule set specifically. Cole's very sound positionally, but I think Damien is able to keep up with that positional awareness and fire off more submissions than Cole would be able to fire off. So I think Damien's going to be more offensive and get the W.
Cole, Abate, and Damien's fight, even though Damien jump in, I think last minute, I think it's going to be a very, very high-paced fight. I told Damien when I saw him on the B team, one of his fight against, was it Target at the trials, which is still, man, I still watch that fight. It was one of the craziest. So as a fan, personally, I'm excited to see that one.
It depends how the matchup, or where the match goes, right? I think Luke, since he trains with New Wave, probably has an edge with leg locks, but Haisam, just with his physicality, as well as I think in the standing position, I think Haisam would have the advantage. So it's really whoever can bring their opponent into their game. If Luke is able to bring it into a leg lock battle, then Luke will have the advantage. Not that Haisam has no knowledge of leg locks, but it'll be an advantage for Luke. However, if Haisam can get to his back from a standing position or get to a dominant passing position, whether north, south, or side control, then it starts to favor Haisam a bit more.
Haisam and Luke, super interesting. Also, I feel like we haven't seen that much of Luke. He's kind of like just popping up on the scene. He won trials. He's just an ADCC. He's got some good momentum and everything. Haisam is just an animal. He's been at B team for the past week or a couple weeks, and it's just crazy. You see him in the room. It's like a car driving down a cliff. It's like very, very hard to handle. And But it's just going to be interesting. Haisam's probably the more physical, athletic guy of the two, whereas Luke is the more leg lock savvy guy. So I think they both know that as well. As pretty, we're not hiding anything here. It's clear, like it's a leg locker, classic leg locker versus more athletic guy, and it's going to be interesting.
So I'm really looking forward to the Ethan versus Fabricio Andre match. They're both, like, in my opinion, like, insanely entertaining fighters, and obviously Ethan's my boy from Montreal, and I'm really like looking forward to seeing how that I think, like, whatever the result, the fans are in for a treat with that match.
Obviously, I'm super excited for Ethan and Fabricio. Fabricio actually beat Cole, so I was familiar with him just watching Cole as well. But Ethan's such a good grappler, and he gets to the back a lot, so I think that's something that Fabricio I believe is gonna have a bit of trouble dealing with that back exposure that Ethan is able to generate. So I'm curious to see what his solutions are for Ethan.
I think Fabricio Andre and Ethan Crelinsten, that's the one now where it's just going to be just like non-stop scrambles, I feel.